Hello and welcome to Trendz on the SABC News Channel this Saturday. My name is Rafil Wimwilwa. Please do let us know what you're up to this Saturday. On Twitter, our handle is @Trendz on SABC. Yeah, well, we have a lot happening today, so let's get right into it. Our first story for the day is a theatre piece. A Tswana musical play called Kholo is currently on at the State Theatre in Pretoria. Now, it's inspired by true life events, and the fictional play is written and directed by Martin Gobwejai, which seeks to explore the Tswana culture and its taboos. Take a look.
Set in the 1940s in an imaginary rural village, this musical is presented in Tswana with a bit of English. It captures the rich and dramatic tones and sorrows of Botswana people and their fictional expertise. Scenes of the play may be fictional, but some adaptations are based on real-life events.
Kholo is about the observance of certain rites and rituals of Botswana. Kholo tolapita is in skipping the pot. So it's about, it revolves around a young man who's supposed to take the leadership of his clan in an imaginary village. The clan is called Paeti. So this guy is against that. He does not want to take this leadership that he's been required to take. So he deserts his clan and heads for Kimberley in Vergenoeg, where he cohabits with a colored woman who's a Shebeen queen. So they both run a very rowdy but successful Shebeen in Kimberley.
The story also looks at a rebellious young man with supernatural powers. He persistently refuses to submit to the call to lead his clan to glory and prosperity. Tswana music and traditional dances are central to the unfolding of the story, which helps in telling the story itself. The star-studded musical features one of the country's international stage and screen role players, such as Seputla Sebohodi, alongside Peter Mashego, Untiretsi Manyetsa, and many others.
For me, it's an honor to do such a role because, you see, for me, we need to have lots of kholos around, whether it's Zulu, whether it's Pedi, whether it's Ndebele. This is the first South African Tswana musical play. And you see, the way it's written, it's almost like Shakespeare, you know. I don't think in 20 years this play will be outdated. In 20 years, our kids can learn a lot from this.
It's been so great because we have been doing this show for years now and then touring Christiana and some other places. So it's fun, it's great.
And very interesting.
Yeah.
Doing the heritage, you know, taking people back where they come from. It's very interesting.
And what was the most difficult part of the play that you had to undergo?
Learning the songs of Tswana, deep songs, and then knowing even the language, having to twist your tongue to speak Singwato, but that was a difficult part, but at least we managed.
The writers also offers a rare glimpse into a rich tapestry of the Botswana culture, while also taking the audience on a journey that allows it to stir deep into Botswana's darkest taboos, theories, myths, faith and convictions. The play will be on at the State Theatre until next week Sunday.
It's great productions on at the State Theatre. So 19 years after Nelson Mandela began writing about his years as president, his new book, Dare Not Lenga, was launched in Johannesburg this past week. Novelist Mandela worked with Mandela's original manuscript, which he never finished, of course, to complete the book, which he had intended as a sequel to his international bestseller, Long Walk to Freedom.
Dare Not Lenga is intended to help South Africans who read the book to remember a time when they held the moral high ground. With 360 pages, it took Mandela 11 months to complete the book. Langa used detailed drafts written by Nelson Mandela shortly after his presidency ended. On the book, the former president gives his views of the country's first multiracial elections in 1994. Mandela takes us through the journey of writing this book.
When I was first approached regarding this task. And I saw that one of the people who was the main instigator of this process was Joel Nechitenje.
He's sitting there with his mouth covered right now.
My mind just went back to so many other circumstances where he has been responsible for putting me in a situation where I have to do my best.
The Nelson Mandela Foundation CEO Silo Hatang says during his years as a president, Madiba used to scribble notes about his work and personal agendas.
So for us, this kind of book is concluding a process of love that Madiba put in the book, and we hope that the reader out there will see that love. When Madiba started off from 1998 doing the book, and by the time he ran out of steam, he was clear to Mrs. Machel that he wanted this completed. And when we approached the foundation to say, please help complete this process, who else could we have gotten but Ntate Mandela to then do this book justice? And we hope that the reader will agree with us that the book is really beautifully done and tells a story, narrates in a way that doesn't hide anything of the difficulties, the challenges that Madiba had, but also how hard he could be in trying to deliver a dream.
Some of the members of his presidential staff, ex-freedom fighters, MPs, and supporters of the anti-apartheid were also part of this book launch.
I would say that a book such as this one is a source of joy, I'm sure, to the whole nation, because it has helped us it helps us to know even better and to remember our icon. But at the same time, then one can't help feeling that if you could just, peep and see what's going on in the country, we're certain that he would not be happy to see the state in which our country is today.
Moving on to Bloemfontein at the Huguenot Theatre, a theatre production with a more serious message was recently staged there. Poetic Rise, a play by Musidi Makuta, highlights the underworld of human trafficking and also seeks to educate especially young girls about this emotive topic. The production, which also made its debut at the National Arts Festival, was a hit at Makufe 2 weeks ago.
Human trafficking is a serious crime and a violation of human rights, and that is exactly what Poetic Rise, a play by Musidi Makuta, highlights. Often the search for greener pastures can be daunting and dangerous. Young female job seekers are usually lured with offers of lucrative jobs and a better life. Unbeknown to them, they will be plied with drugs and alcohol and eventually be forced into a life of prostitution.
The show was really becoming very relevant to tell it now with what is happening, to teach, to educate, because the show educates. It shows of how these girls are being lured into the industry, who is targeted, and the part as a society we can do in eradicating this problem.
The character that I'm playing, Dora, I own a brothel and I sell girls as sex slaves. But I also have a boss. I also work for someone. His name is Sweetness, and I'm terrified of him. He raped me, and then I also have a child.
But this scene is not in the play, right? I tell it through a monologue that I was raped because I look different, and these three men, when they raped me, they could see by my physique that I behave like a boy. So I experienced a thing called corrective rape.
Shame. This is my educated guessing, or at least I would love to hope so, opinion. Ausi, you are stupid.
In the world of trafficking, victims' lives are turning to double slavery, serving two masters, their pimps and their insatiable drug habit.
It's such a brutal play, and me as a director trying to bring the brutality on stage has been the most difficult part, because yes, we want to tell a story, yes, we want to confront the audience with the truth, but I understand that it can be too much for other people to handle. So it just puts me in the space, as a director, what comes first? Do I tell the truth as it is, or do I think of the audience?
This theatre production has been to the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown and was also in demand at the Makufe Festival in Bloemfontein.
We're going to an ad break now, but do come back because we have a whole lot still on Trendz. We have film, we have music, and we have some superstars in studio. Come back after this.
Show me a greater power on the whole continent of Africa. Show me a greater power anyway.
6th of June 1918 was the establishment of our movement to maintain that.
We need to do something about the educational upliftment of the Afrikaner, and we also need to do something about the economic upliftment of the Afrikaner. And that was the two main goals at that stage in 1918.
The Brotherhood never was a cultural organization. It was a state-capturing organization. It is, in fact...
I like that term.
It has captured the financial systems. It has captured the parastatals. It has captured cultural organizations.
For all your constitutional and legal matters, tune into Rights and Recourse on Sundays between 2 and 3 Central African Time.
Welcome back. So the Evita World Tour kicked off in South Africa this past week at Monte Casino's Teatro Theatre. Now with music by the inimitable Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. The 7-time Tony Award-winning musical is based on the life of Argentina's first lady in the 1940s, Lady Eva Perón, better known as Evita, whose life continues to fascinate people around the world. Take a look.
Set in Buenos Aires, Argentina between 1934 and 1952, the musical follows Eva Duarte Perón on her passionate and tragic journey from her humble beginnings as a fatherless child to the ambitious actress to the most powerful woman in Latin America. Though the story has been told many times and produced in so many different countries since 1978, it remains a relevant story that entices people time and time again.
Large majority of the population that don't know the history, that just know the people. And so when you have the most charismatic person in the room, and if you read your program, you're like, oh my God, they were fascists, and she stole money, and she did this, and he did that, and slept her way to the top, and was promiscuous, and you read all that, you say, oh, I don't like this person. And then you watch the show, and you see the power of persuasion, and you see how dynamic a creature she is, especially as Emma Kingston embodies her. You're like, oh, well, wait a minute, she's not so bad. I kind of like her. And that's why there's this sort of great divide, and how forgiving we can be and how persuaded we can be when we see the most charismatic person in the room and when we hear the most charming person in the room.
Starring our very own Jonathan Roxmouth as narrator Che Guevara and Britain's Emma Kingston as Eva Perón.
Che was selected as a narrator of sorts to represent a revolutionary idea. He wasn't in a similar area, similar time frame. Although they never met historically, the device gives the viewer an understanding of what was happening without a traditional narrator coming out and going, okay, this is what's happening. What's also great fun about this is everybody has an idea of Che because he's such an iconic figure. Everybody has that T-shirt, The idea that that guy will be funny and charming and naughty and wicked and angry and outraged throughout the evening he's unpredictable. It is such an interesting theatrical device because both of them had their flaws. And it's almost like one ambiguous figure tipping his hat or tipping his beret to another ambiguous figure. And that struggle, not just necessarily a power struggle, but that balance between hatred and admiration for what they had the potential to do if they rose to power.
Perón won the love of her countrymen in spite of a lack of moral consciousness in her journey to the top. From her position of power, she fought for the working class Argentines. Kingston hopes to have brought justice to the character.
I did a lot of research. I tried to look into the political history. I tried to look into her personal history. I had the opportunity to go to Buenos Aires in May, and I visited her foundation house in the Casa Rosada and the museum underneath, and I tried to gather as much information as I could in order to bring real truth to her character. There's a real balance in seeing what goes on in her brain versus how she presents herself to her people. And the two things work very well together, in that behind the eyes you see how she's calculating her rise to power, yet to the people she's seen as a complete saint. So it's working the two together.
The production maintains its originality with music and lyrics by Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber, as well as choreography by the original West End and Broadway choreographer Larry Fuller and designed by original designer Timothy O'Brien.
Well, what's interesting about this production is it has the illusion of being a very large-scale spectacle, and it is in many regards, and the lighting is fantastic, and the movement of it is, it goes at a breakneck pace, so it's always very exciting, but ultimately when you strip it down, it's really a show in a black box with a few pieces of furniture moving in and out, and very aggressive storytelling and wonderful songs. And so when you put it all together, you think you're seeing something larger physically than what you really are. But it's actually quite simple. It's simple and elegant and powerful.
Evita opens on October 19, 2017 at the Monte Casino Teatro and will run until November 26, 2017.
My mad existence,
John, I will stand in front. Hayi manu. Uyacafa ukuthi mina ucavela lapho kwenza le khamera.
Hawu, yini ungasebenzisa i-cellphone yakho le smartphone ugoogle phela sibone ukuthi uzayithola ile information.
Yo, ufuna ukubona mina ngihlinza inkomo. Ufuna ngikubonisa.
Singaxoxa.
Ya, singakhuluma ngalokhu nalokuya.
Uma ungamela kude uzomshweba. Hey wena, ngilalele yini?
Ngoba sikhe ekhaya phela lapha. Singakhuluma ukuthi indoda iyagwazwa lapha. Igwazele nje 5 rand kuphela.
Xolo bhuti. Ingabe khona indawo yofihla ikhaya eseduzana?
Yabona ifuna imali. Siningi indawo zokuhlala.
Fanele ukuthi umpadreke jo. Kumele wenze sure ukuthi ubone idimas lakhe.
Bheka sibala. Tweet clip.
naye nyakaya nina nawe siyazi amelanga ngokurhafe for umntwana
shaya singakhuluma ukuthi le ekhaya ungaba isigwili kodwa lapha awulutho isifokol shaya man
lezi intsha lezi sivaleleke sihogweni azinanyoko azinawo amadlala bengithanda nje ngenza sure ukuthi ugcina ufana nabo.
Wow, wow, wow. Goosebumps, right? Yep, well, that's the trailer for a film that is about one train, 4 strangers who are all bound for the city of gold, Egoli. Now, they're each on their own mission, but one event will irrevocably change their lives forever. Based on real-life stories, the film Vaya weaves 3 separate plots that intersect in a gripping, edgy, and deeply moving story about the coming to the city and struggling to survive. It's about strangers who've never met before, but who share a moment when all their lives intersect and will change forever. I'm now joined in studio by Trendz. I've got Warren Masemola, who you saw in that trailer. I've got esteemed director. He's done so much for the South African film industry, Akino Motoso. And I have also Zimkita Nyoka, who is making all the right moves in the acting world. Welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Sterling, I must start with you. We've been trying to get you forever and a decade. I mean, whether it's the entertainment show, whether it's the film show. So thank you so very much. And I mean, here's this role. And I have to say, the one thing that is coming more and more apparent is that we will inevitably hate you in the movies and the roles you play, but we love your work. How do you do it?
I don't know how I do it, you know.
But you play your characters well. Where do you get those dark, deep, hectic people? Where do you draw them from?
I'm very observant a person, you know, and that's one of the things that I took from drama school, and it really works for me. And, you know, our teachers would allow us to just be outside and observe the world. And I continue to observe, and I'd say I know characters, or because of that observation, I can emulate a lot of personalities because of how close I observe when I'm with people.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go.
Okay. Keen observer. Akin, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so the last time there was a whole lot of hype. It was a very, very different genre of film. You know, it was a rom-com that you were involved in. And Vaya, I mean, take us through just everything and the emotions, because the one thing I love about it is that it's so authentic to the struggles that basically almost everyone has when they first start in the city, you know?
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it came out of something called the Homeless Writers Project, which was started by co-producer, co-writer Robbie Thorpe, later joined by Harriet Perlman. And it's based on the lives of 4 gentlemen. I mean, David, Saibo, Saba, and here we go. David, Saibo, Saba, and my daughter. Thank you.
Thank you, Zimkita.
Thank you, Zimkita.
Yeah.
And they really, the Homeless Writers Project was something where people from the streets that we drive past all the time, we don't, you know, when you drive past the people on the street and say, well, actually, what's your story? How did you get? How did you get here? And that workshop was a place where people could come and share their stories. Okay. And out of the process of sharing those stories came the film. So it took about 8 years watching it cook. Jeez. You know, so I was involved from the beginning. Firstly, just when it wasn't even a film, just the idea of something to be done, and then obviously as it went on, the script came, and then to the point where, you know, we got into production.
That's so interesting, though. That's so
wonderful
interesting.
people.
Yeah. What I want to find out though is, are some of those people in the film?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
The writers
so you
are in there. Yeah.
You basically, I mean, gave them their big break. I mean, yeah, because
I mean, they gave us the way I look at it is they gave us a jewel of a story. I also have to credit another writer, Craig Fryman. So 7 people weave that film together, and it was such a privilege to watch a story grow.
Must have been.
And then to have, as you say, you know, these wonderful actors to bring it to life.
And here's this film has gone everywhere. I mean, it's only coming out now in South Africa.
Yes.
But, you know, international film festivals everywhere. Zimkita, welcome. And you were saying, though, so much as you love the craft, one thing that you're not so sure about is everything else that it comes with. Because right now, we see you. We want to know, Zimkita, hey, how are you? Let's take a picture. You know what I mean? You are now thrust into the stardom and showbiz world.
Yeah.
And you're good, though. That's the thing. So your role, I mean, wow. Where did you, I mean, that kind of character where you are, playing a big sisterly role to this little girl, and, all that, and you don't actually say much. What I love about your acting is it's all in your movements, it's all in your face. You own it. You own it, and you don't even need dialogue to get your message across. So where does that all come from? Because I understand you're a biochemistry major, girl.
That didn't finish.
Yeah. But you're going to go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what was in the script that got the moments that everyone talks about is the not knowing, because the script in my character doesn't know where she's going, and she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know tomorrow. She just knows right now. And I remember preparing for it and not knowing what to prepare for it. So when they call action, I know all this information, but really I don't know much. So it was a thing of just trust your gut and just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Warren.
Yeah.
So with the cast, I mean, I don't know, I'm trying to get questions that don't give too much away, you know what I mean? Because your role, you are that bad guy, as I've said, and you do it so incredibly well. But with all your other projects and working with a director like Akin, did you have a collaborative style of, listen, I think I could actually do it this way? Does he push you a lot? Is he very strict? Is he horrible to work with? Does he still do the basketball thing?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
See? Okay, so some things don't change. But in terms of his directing style, tell us about working with Akin.
It was very easy to work because he was very clear in his communication. So he would communicate how he sees the scene, and with my preparation, I would just marry that. And if anything comes up, we were always open to share and suggest and offer. And yeah, I think it was just easy to do the work because he had his preparation, I had mine, and in between that, then there was the basketball. And we all had the scenes of the movie so clear in our head that we knew the journey per character and where the character would be at a certain point. So that was also very clear in how it was communicated in the writing, in the script. That made it so easy when you prepared for the character to perform and meeting the director on set. It was just too real. It wasn't too plastic, even the location, the set, the people that we worked with. It was a very beautiful crew that also attached to the story. And in the places that we shot in, I think it brought reality so much and so close to the story. And that's why you see it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's so real.
No, it comes across through and through on screen. International accolades and praise for this film. I mean, since you opened, overseas, take us through some of it and just... Is this, a person can never say who's your favorite child. We all know. But I think internally parents all have a favorite child, you know what I mean? But when you think about, everything that's gone into this project, the struggles, the grit, and just the final product now, do you get goosebumps?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's, like I said, just watching something for 8 years and remembering also the years, because every year, you all meet as a company and what are the projects? And every year is okay, so Via. You know what I mean? And just to witness that, to be part of that, and now to see people responding to the film the way they do, it's really, yes, it's really blessed. And even these, Warren is not telling you the story, and Zimkita is not telling you of how they even got to be in the film. I saw Warren in a TV show and I said, you must come and audition for this film. I can't tell you when the film is going to happen, but you must come. And with Zimkita as well, she was cast about 72 hours before we started shooting.
Really?
Because we were really, that character was just so crucial. Yeah. And we just were not happy. Everyone who came was fine. Great actresses, no question. But we didn't quite find it. And what I always say, simultaneously as her agent was sending me a message saying, I think I found the girl. The girl. The guy who was in the car with me, the driver, says, I think you should look at this girl. And literally he's showing me his phone and it's her picture.
Wow.
And my agent is like, it's this girl.
Talk about serendipity.
And there's so many moments like that in this story. Amazing. I could go on. And so at that point, you know that there's a higher power guiding it, and you just sit back and
just watch it all unfold.
And just watch it and be grateful that you were part of it.
Congratulations to you all. Kudos. I wish we had more time, because in Kita we've seen you play different characters and roles, but you're not even a mom. You're so young, but the role that you play, congratulations and all the best for this film. I mean, it's bound to be a hit. South Africans, go out and watch the film.
27th October.
of October. Thank you so very much, guys. We have a performance right now. Take it away, guys.
That I struggle to say it. Know that I'm the one who gets lost in your swift and your bright eyes, a miracle mind. You wonder if your world could be bigger. We could run and never look back, with a wild heart, a fresh start in a typical time. Hold up, I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild heart. Come on baby, hold up, listen now. I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild heart. Hold up, I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild heart. Come on baby, hold up, listen now. I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild heart. I know that you struggle to fake it. I can see you looking for a way out. Behind those wide eyes, battle cry, a war with your doubt. Think back to when we were naked, young enough to not give up. Remember 23, cheap drinks and ripped jeans, you and me on the same couch for 3 weeks. Hold up, I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild hearts. Come on baby, hold up, listen now. I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild heart. Hold up, I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild heart. Come on baby, hold up, listen now. I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild heart. I'm looking for your wild heart, wild heart. I'm looking for your heart. I'm looking for your wild heart, wild heart. I'm looking for your heart. There's times that I struggle to say it. Know that I'm the one who gets lost.
We are your eyes in all major events around the world.
A wonder not seen in the United States in almost 100 years.
It looks like the sky of a different world. You see the stars out during the day. You see a sunset 360 degrees all around you.
Before you leave, make sure that Rob Byrne is taking you through traffic alert all around South Africa.
All we can do is stick to what we do and focus on our own job and not focus on them.
The Boks will also don the red jersey in this match to mark the 25th anniversary of rugby unity in South Africa.
An update on all major currency to guide you. A story of women in jail told in pictures by Fatima Mir through art that will blow your mind. Set the agenda for the day with Morning Live.
Welcome back, and that was December Streets that played us before break. I'll be chatting to them in just a little while, but before that, on to fashion news now. The fall of Spring-Summer 2017 fashion season has come to an end, and now fashion forward, people and lovers are getting ready to welcome the 2018 Autumn-Winter season. In just a few days' time, the South African Fashion Doors will open its doors for Fashion Week, showcasing 53 collections at its new home at Sandton City's rooftop, now in its 20th year. That's right, 20 years. Congratulations to them. The fashion extravaganza is expected to attract over 10,000 guests from all over Africa, including media buyers and fashionistas. Now, so here's what you can expect on the runway come October 24th.
What's happening, guys? It's Troy, the fashion official ZA. Today we're at the home of SA Fashion Week in Sandton City. If you would know, or if you've been following them, you would know that they've previously been in Hyde Park as well as Melrose Arch. Well, today they brought it here in Sandton City. Follow me as we preview the Autumn-Winter 18 trends that's going to be on the runway this year. Well, the latest trends to expect this season, there's quite a lot, especially because, you know, fashion is forever evolving. So we're going back to the 80s, bringing back to the 90s, and then almost the 2000s. So this year we can expect quite a lot of flares, quite a lot of pleats, and quite a lot of, I can't say dull colors, but really toned down colors. Yeah. So when I say toned down colors, I'm talking about these type of colors, more pastels, very down, but also with quite, you know, a lot of print, quite a lot of detail. I mean, if we look at this 3/4 jacket by Susan Haynes, it's really, you know, somewhat vintage-ish. So it takes me back to, you know, the 80s, straight back into the 90s. Somewhat reminds me of my mom when she was still fashionable somehow. And then we move right along to our lace. Yes, remember lace? Yeah, I know. I'm also having somewhat of an aphrodisiac moment. I remember lace back in the days also just came through. So just to take down this dress, this is very gorgeous, great for evening wear, and it's also, like I said, very toned down colors. It's a gray, it's a blue, like what I'm wearing at this point. So I see quite a lot of these colors coming down in winter next year. So yeah, long dresses, out for dinner, that's great. So if you also want pops of color, you can also go for your reds. Yes, your reds, your blues. So here are two dresses. So I'll give you just an example. Two dresses, pops of color. So if you want to be, you know, out and about, just looking all sorts of fabulous, all sorts of great, you can pop it up with some color. Go with your reds, go with the blues. As they say in fashion, that blue really brings out the skin tone of the woman, modern woman. Should I put it like that? Yes. The next designers that are going to take over this entire country in the next 10 years, 10 to 15 years. But I could say I'm looking at two designers. Very excited for them. One is called Rich Mnisi, or rather his name is Rich Mnisi. He's a Johannesburg-based designer, born, bred in Soweto. And the other is Tebe Magugu from Cape Town. And they are part of the capsule collection that's going to be showcasing by Woolworths on the first day. And they've done this, I think, for the second year with their Style by SA campaign. I'm very excited about that one because you know, it's always important for, you know, brands to recognize new talent. I mean, everybody else can be recognized, but at the end of the day, it's very important for brands to recognize new talent and build a future in fashion. The designers that are going to get it wrong this year, listen up. I have to just give it to two designers that I've constantly seen get it wrong, especially when it comes to studying their trends, especially when it comes to just making sure that they do their research properly. The first one is, of course, a women's wear designer. His name is Ryan Keys. Hardly ever see the latest trends from this guy. I mean, he would just design nudes in winter, and I really don't understand why would you want to do that. Why would you want to dress a woman or dress a woman in something that is not really warm enough for the season? Yeah, so he's the first guy. And then the second guy for menswear, Lady Sekhapo of Pulse. Sure, I've seen quite a lot of downfalls. You know, I'm not saying that he doesn't have nice items, but I'm just saying that, you know, based on my study on the trends that they both do, I've hardly ever seen them, you know, follow trends and just make sure that they put out what is happening internationally to here. I mean, the whole point of, you know, a season is for you to get inspiration from across the globe, across the world, across different, you know, platforms, whether it means you're inspired by just, you know, just a normal day on the Iceland. It's important for you to understand those type of trends. So those two can definitely say that, nah.
Thank you, Troy. So yeah, October 24th, it's SA Fashion Week time. Now in studio, they're an indie pop rock band and they're called December Streets. Yeah, those were the guys who played beforehand. So they are steady climbing the charts with their dynamic and addictive indie pop hits. Now following the success of their 2016 singles Santa Fe and I'll Try, they have just released their latest single, Wild Heart, which is also the name, I understand, of their EP coming out in just a while. Welcome to studio, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks
Cool.
for having us.
So that was a cool vibe over there that, you know, you played us a song called Wild Heart. Who
Indeed.
wrote that and who is this Wild Heart that caught somebody's eye?
Wild Heart is definitely about a relationship, and I co-wrote it with another person, and we wrote it about the feeling of chasing someone that you love very much, but their heart, you can't just grab onto it. You know, you're trying, but they never give the love back the way that you're giving to them. So it's about that whole adventure and challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Dane, take us through. I mean, what do you play, and just a bit about yourself. And you guys are from Pretoria, am I correct?
Yeah.
All of you. Okay, cool. So how did this band come about, even?
I'm actually the newest member of the band, so I've only been in the band for like a year. Actually, there's an inside joke that my name is November because I'm going to expire at the end of this month. But hopefully they'll keep me for longer than that. It's been one hell of a ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was the question?
Well, just how you got to be in the band, and just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, Tristan and I studied together, so we've been friends for quite a while.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I kind of like slithered my way into the band.
Yeah.
And we all pretty much met at varsity.
Yeah. Okay, all right, cool. So Waldo, so your role in the band, do you write, do you also produce? Is it a collaborative effort?
So on the writing and the producing, not so much. I do a lot of the additional instruments. I play brass, trumpet player by trade.
Okay.
But anything from synthesizer through to the pads and the MIDI controllers, that's kind of where I feature.
Nice.
So yeah, in terms of the production, that's where Tristan's forte is. But yeah, it's really cool working kind of to each one's strengths in terms of playing different instruments.
Yeah. All right, Tristan, and just the success since 2016. Talk us through, you know, your single Santa Fe and I'll Try, and I mean how people receive those when you perform and you're out there. You know, the kind of energy and love that you get from your fans.
It's so addictive. It is incredible. Like the success of I'll Try and Santa Fe last year. I just rode the band on this big wave that just kept growing and growing.
Sure.
And there's nothing better than standing on a stage and like seeing the people in the crowd smiling, laughing, and singing the lyrics back to you.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've just been writing that now and then building it up to this new EP.
Sure, let's talk about that new EP. You know, what can we expect? Is a lot of the sound very similar to what people know traditionally about you guys?
I think we've always had like a very hooky kind of catchy sound. Sure. Like we kept that intrinsic element throughout this new EP, but we definitely explored the new production elements. We brought synthesizers in, you know, we sampled things, and we just experimented mixing different genres together. So it goes from like this single Wild Heart into like a bit more, I would say, R&B, hip-hop kind of feel. It's got like this breakbeat kind of vibe. And then it goes to like a ballad song. So it's quite a journey when you go through like a dynamic
well, Waldo,
journey.
you were saying earlier that your sound has kind of evolved as well from, you know, when you first started the band, and anything that has, you know, motivated this or steered this on?
Well, so I think at the very beginning we started out as a party band. You know, that's where you go out to have the greatest.
You guys want to have a job? Call us.
Exactly. So the crowd is bowing up and down. But since then, like, I mean, being radio friendly and producing music that's you know, universally accepted is also, you know, that's where we're headed.
Fantastic.
So, bringing in these production elements, staying with the time is essentially necessary.
Fantastic, I couldn't agree more. And Dan, I mean, musical icons and just people that you've always admired that got you into music, who would those be?
Musical icons, I've always liked a lot of bands. I mean, I think we all liked pretty much the same bands growing up, like punk rock, and then I think all of our taste changes the moment. I can speak for the moment, and at the moment, the favourite band's probably Glass Animals at the moment.
All right.
Quite international.
I don't know them. I won't act like I know them. that's cool. Cool, guys. And so you are also embarking on a tour at the end of November.
Yeah,
Tell us about that, Tristan.
So we're starting off in Johannesburg. We're going to do a show over here at a brewery called Red Rock Breweries. And then we're heading down to Cape Town, and we're doing a couple of festivals in the Drakensberg and Plet Rage.
All right.
The classics. But we're doing that as a Wild Heart tour collectively. So there'll be a couple of shows. You can check our Facebook and follow the details of where we're going to be.
Okay, and Facebook. And wait a minute, before you go, December Streets. Why December Streets?
That's a question we get asked so often.
We dodge that question usually. I'm going to pass it on to Tristan.
We don't usually know. Like, we don't speak about it. But it was us sitting around a fire being like, we really need a cool name. And we got like 1,000 names, we didn't get one, and someone said December Streets, we're like, let's just go with it.
Okay, just
we rolled with
simple and easy. All right, thank you so very much, guys. And Twitter, Facebook, all of that, it's December Streets.
All at December Streets,
Okay, cool. Thank you so very much, guys. It's been a pleasure, and we wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was December Streets. Look out for them touring around maybe at a city near yours. We are going to an ad break now. Come back after this.
23 cheap drinks and ripped jeans. You and me on the same couch for 3 weeks. Hold up, I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild hearts. Come on, baby, hold up. Listen now, I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild hearts. Hey, hold up, I'm looking for the rhythm of your wild hearts.
Here we are witnessing the beginning of the end of the apartheid system.
If you did a paternity test on our constitution, whose DNA would come up? Not Nelson Mandela, not F.W. de Klerk, Oliver Tambo.
Well, today we discuss the general practitioner or GP.
So the quality of the doctors coming through our medical schools is excellent.
Your GP is your family doctor. Your GP is your first point of care.
Who determines how much a consultation fee should be?
We set up networks of general practitioners, and one of the conditions of the network was to agree to charge a certain fee.
Specialists are specialists. We can't take away their role. We can't take away what they do for each patient in their disease entity.
Our specialist colleagues as well don't appreciate patients coming straight off the street, as it were, to see them. They're highly trained.
For health tips that will help you to adopt healthy living, catch Health Talk every Saturday from 9 to 10.
Welcome back. You are still tuned to Trendz. So we all love our international musos, right? But I'm not sure how many South Africans actually take time to explore and listen to the sounds of our very best right on our doorsteps. Now, Africa in its entirety is actually so incredibly blessed. And one of those whose life force is the very fabric that weaves Africa's creative soul is joining me right now. He's a Sama-winning artist, producer, actor, and also filmmaker who this year has released a double album titled Unapologetic, the House and Hip Hop Albums. Mr. Vilakazi.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm great, man.
Pleasure having you here, man.
Thank you. Great show.
You've been one of those artists one day.
One day to happen.
And here you are.
Sure.
Congratulations on the double album.
Thank you so much.
And I mean, how long does it take to put together? Because I know you kind of manage everything.
For sure.
And so house and hip hop, and kudos to you on your versatility.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? So take us through the album and what we can expect.
Well, I mean, the idea behind it was that on my first 3 albums, I'd rap a little bit, or I'd collaborate with other artists doing hip-hop.
Right.
And my friends would be like, when are you doing a full-on hip-hop album?
Yeah.
In a similar vein, whenever I'd collaborate with like the song or with with Clark, whatever, would make this big house singles, and people would be like, when are you doing a full-on house album? So I decided, you know, let me just do both and just knock it at the park.
Give everybody what they want.
Yeah, we did do it once. Are you happy? Can I carry on with my life? So it's literally like a gift to my fans for something they've been asking me to do since my first album. And it's just been great. Like I went in the studio with this amazing producer from my hood called Trevor Marco. And literally spent a month, and every day we're just knocking these songs out, you know?
Jeez.
And I was lucky to have great collaborators who came to studio, from Questa to Reason to Prahu to Judith.
But that's the thing, right? So one thing about all your music and albums actually is, I think, your collaborative strength.
For sure.
I love the fact that you're not intimidated, and you actually, you know, see the strength in having other people who might bring something better than you.
For sure.
Because that's how you grow. That's how, you know what I mean?
You learn by getting in the studio with other artists, because they bring an energy, a story, history that you don't have. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And whenever they bring it to studio, it's an energy that you learn from. So I'm glad that I'm able, and with such big artists, so you're not just learning from their gifts, but also from the experience, you know?
Sure. Okay, fantastic. One of my all-time favorites of yours, with no tender.
For sure.
Has to be Color of You.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's way, way back.
For sure.
So when you say, I mean, in this album, you have done a lot of what we know, but also new stuff, because I actually never saw you as a house musician.
Exactly,
You know what I mean? So that's great that you have that in there, but from, you know, Color of You, and then all the millions of features that you've also had, what have been your highlights about this passion project?
I think basically, like, first of all, how I worked with Prahu in my album is that he gave me a call when he was recording his last album.
Right.
And he said, please come through, I want you to do the song with me. Just getting a call from Prahu is a huge thing.
Of course.
You're never too big, you're never too successful.
You're never too busy.
Yeah. It's like whatever you want, and I went in. And he made me so comfortable that I felt brave enough to say, Prahu, I'm actually in the middle of recording an album. Would you be able to come through? The next day, didn't waste time, came in, enjoyed it, knocked out the song. And to put him on a house song also was a bit of like a risk.
Of course.
But he was so open-minded. I called Judith on the same song. She did the same thing. Another big moment in the album was when we had like 8 artists in one studio.
Jeez.
We had like Knack Music, Donald, Chiwe, Monewa, Mpumi, Zion, Zanor, all on one song.
On one song.
Yeah. So it's just something I've always thought.
Party.
Yeah. I just thought these are all great house vocalists. I wonder what it would be like if you put them all in one song. And it worked out great. So I'm really, really excited about the album. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So thank you so very much. You are going to perform your latest, the single that's come out. That also has a video now, is Bye Bye.
For sure.
Professor
and Danger from Big Nas.
Okay. You had to tap into that Durban sound as well. Fantastic, man, Kabomu. You are a consummate professional, bona fide musician through and through. Thank you so very much for coming to
Thank you much for having me. I
Fantastic.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving on to a quick package before Kabomu performs. A well-known luxury fashion brand that's known for its stylish and distinct offerings for men is now launching its latest spring-summer collection at an artistic event in Kramerville, north of Johannesburg. Now, but there's also an exciting twist to the launch, the fact that they are always producing for men, right? That's Fabiani, but this time around, they have a range for women.
Guests were treated to an exclusive experience of summer sensations that were bold, refined and sharp as we walked through the seasonal launch. And suiting was the major trend in the creation of the women's line from designer Warwick Gauthier. The smoking female tuxedo suit was inspired by the 1966 YSL movement to recreate and establish an androgynous style. The collection contains various masculine silhouettes and elements like shirting, tailored suiting and accessories.
Well, this evening it's really just to celebrate mainly the launch of women. We're going to be launching in 6 stores before the end of the year. And we've gone into a partnership with Warwick Gauthier, a well-known designer, and we're very excited. He's put an unbelievable range together. There's a big gap in the market for premium women's wear, and what's great is it's all made in SA, the design in SA, and Warwick has come in as a partner, as I said, and we're very excited about it because it's something very new to the TFG stable, and it complements the menswear really, really well.
Guests were also presented with the second G-Star Elwood X25 collection, an ongoing celebration of unreserved self-expression and creativity. Drawing on inspiration from across the globe, Pharrell Williams reimagined the classic 3D denim in 25 bright prints that meld motifs and the natural world, from poison dart frogs and butterfly fish to leopards and whale sharks.
You're basically coming to see tonight a preview, the first in South Africa and the first globally, of the new X25 prints. The X25 is an initiative that Pharrell Williams started last year, where he took prints that mean something in history, in the time, a certain time in history, and he added it to extend the denim range within the G-Star business.
South Africa's fashion industry continues to break new ground, showcasing the pure talent that we have and setting trends.
And with that, we have come to the end of another fabulous episode here on Trends today. So excited that we had Warren and Zimkita and Akinomotoso in studio talking about Vaya, Go Out and See It. And now, Gabomo is here and he's about to say bye-bye. See you next week.
Yes, yo. Trends. Yep. Hey. Sing a mama jantombe, Diabana, Sigabana tombe. Rather be alone than with you. You've broken me to nothing, that's my truth. Gizibos are good to the pay. Utando wagi to be salapay. Our lives no longer the same. Our lot has changed, so bye-bye, babe. Sing sweet, self-pedally lutando. 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 No, I don't want you, I don't need you. No, I don't want you, I don't need you. But it is I am in Tombe. Untalangam in Tombe. Now that you left me all lonely, don't you call me? What did I DJ? Balame, oh, Baba Bay, sing sweet, self-pedally lutando. Baba Bay, sing sweet, self-pedally lutando. Baba Bay, sing sweet, self